Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this voyage, I'll be comparing two of Dell's most premium laptop, but one is a gaming laptop and the other is a multimedia creative professional laptop. It's kind of strange, right? A gaming laptop and a multimedia laptop is a completely different category and expectation, so why would I make this comparison? Well, the gap between a gaming laptop and a multimedia laptop is getting smaller because gaming laptops are now thinner and lighter while premium multimedia laptops are packed with some really beefy specs, perhaps as powerful as a gaming laptop. So if you're on a market searching for these two devices and get kinda lost whether you choose the Alienware or the XPS, well, hopefully in this video you can differentiate these two laptops and find the one that is suitable for you. Are you intrigued now? Well, let's get this comparison video started. Okay, first of all, why not the XPS 15 over the XPS 17? Well, I think that the XPS 17 will further minimize the gap between a multimedia and a gaming laptop. In terms of cooling, size, and performance, the XPS 17 is right up there to compare with the beast Alienware laptop. Do note that this is the Alienware M15R2 though, so it may not be a comparison of the latest technology. It should have been the M15R3, but my budget is limited, so yeah. And why did I say the gap between these two laptop categories getting smaller? The size, very minimal differences, 2.3 kilo compared to 2.1 kilo on the Alienware. In terms of thickness, also very teeny differences. The main difference is the user experience. You can clearly differentiate these two laptops from each other once you have hands on them. For the XPS, just two panels of aluminums overlap each other, which is very compact and looks simple. Well, it may seem simple, but the more simple it is, the more delicate and ingenious the design is to justify the price. The XPS has a compulsory set of features that makes up a premium laptop and deliver users one of the best experiences on the market. From the way we hold, grip, open and close the laptop to a one-hand open hinge, the grand size trackpad, and that incredible 16:10 screen, everything has to be on point and ensure that users will receive one of the best experiences. Those are the features that content creators need, right? They need a minimalistic design, very compact, and I can serve them everywhere from conference meeting to traveling. Simple design also enables us to work more efficiently and concentrate to achieve maximum productivity level. What about gamers or any people that loves a unique design? That's where the Alienware speaks for itself. The design doesn't have much to say about it. I mean, look at it and admire it yourself. RGB lighting surrounds the back vent of the laptop, and I am sure that as a gamer, we want to flex on it. Or even the honeycomb air vent pattern is super unique and attractive. And that's the thing that most gamers like, a sleek design over build quality. Unlike the Alienware, the XPS is a true tank. And I'm not saying that the Alienware build quality is bad, it's just not at the XPS level. The Alienware does have some flex on it, especially the screen and the hinges, but the overall build quality is still better than the plastic gaming laptop because it is made of aluminum and plastic polycarbonates. For sure, it isn't the XPS level where it was constructed with full aluminum. Well, every product has their own distinctive features, right? If the Alienware M15R2 is highlighted to the design of it or the outside of it, then the XPS distinctive features are hidden under that tanky construction. It comes down to the user experiences for you to discover the satisfactory feeling that this laptop delivers. If you judge these two laptops from its appearance, surely it is unfair for the XPS. And if you're someone who values design quality over build quality or user experience, surely the Alienware is for you. So there are distinctive features between those laptops. Alienware is for gamer flashy RGB and unique design, meanwhile XPS is for entrepreneurs with minimalistic and compact design. In terms of build quality, the XPS surely takes the win. This is an absolute tank compared to almost all of the laptops in the market. 2 pieces of aluminum is an absolute rigid. The Alienware is a little more fragile and the screen flex was more than what I was expecting. Nevertheless, it feels more premium due to the soft touch finish and very inviting to use. Do note that it is more rigid than most plastic gaming laptops on the current market. Talking about screen, the XPS 17 9700 has an incredible 4-size small bezel and a golden 16:10 screen aspect ratio. This is very useful for content creators or entrepreneurs because it allows to maximize productivity, able to see more content and work. And that's what creators need, right? For the Alienware M15R2 bezel, it is definitely an improvement over recent years. But in comparison to the XPS, it's nowhere near, especially that thick bottom bezel where the Tobii eye tracking can be found. Ordinary 16:9 and especially low brightness, that we will touch on in a second, somewhat slows down your workload. For the screen, both laptops use an IPS panel, while on the Alienware, you can get the 4K OLED if color accuracy matters more to you. Regardless, both laptops have a very good color accuracy, but the XPS 17 is a little better. Both have 100% sRGB, the real difference is the brightness and contrast ratio. The XPS is miles ahead of the Alienware and takes the win. 500 nits for the XPS versus 300 nits for the Alienware. Contrast ratio also big different, 1650 to 1 compared with 950 to 1 on the Alienware. So the XPS is a truly creator's laptop with more color accuracy, big differences in brightness and contrast ratio. While the Alienware display color gamut is just decent for color accuracy work, instead it focused on the refresh rate to deliver top-notch gaming experience. My one here equipped with a whopping 240Hz refresh rate. Another feature that differentiates these products are the keyboard and touchpad combo. Alienware keyboard equipped with the individual key lighting to boost gamers' experience while gaming. I found that a glass trackpad works very good and feels very smooth when using. Meanwhile, the XPS 17 9700 lacks those features, with only 1.3mm of key travel and standard backlit. But it comes with a massive trackpad and palm rest area to deliver a tireless experience for hours of working. The trackpad also compensates for the lack of USB-A port in the XPS, but Dell did include a USB dongle, so it's alright, I guess. Speaking of ports, the XPS 17 9700 has 4 USB-C Thunderbolt 3, 2 on the left and 2 on the right with a headphone jack, and topping it off with the full-size SD card reader. Those are the ports that creators crucially needed, and it's completely opposite for the Alienware. And our bundle of ports include 3 USB-A ports that support for mouse and maybe additional keyboard, an Ethernet port, a headphone jack, USB-C, HDMI, mini display port, Alienware graphics amplifier, and power port are all located on the back. But it lacks of SD card reader. For gaming, this is the one. For speakers, there is a huge gap between Alienware and XPS. I can clearly tell the XPS 17 sounds are miles better due to the speaker's location and total watts. For the Alienware M15R2, the speakers are located on the bottom of the laptop, so the sound is somewhat unclear due to it having to bounce off the surface of a desk before getting picked up by your ears. The speakers are surely a disappointment because they have no subwoofers and are only limited to 2.5 watts maximum, which resulted in a very bland sound. What about cooling and performance? You may think the Alienware is for sure better, right? It is, but the XPS 17 isn't much different from it though. The fans on the XPS 17 are barely making noise even under heavy load, and it's just decently warm. Worth to mention that the XPS comes with a vapor chamber cooling, which is generally better than normal fan cooling on the Alienware. Well, that's not always the case though. Man, the Alienware is a chainsaw when it's on beast mode. The fans ramp up fast and really loud to dissipate all of that heat. As a result, it is very comfortable on the keyboard deck while video editing and just a little warm while gaming. So in terms of cooling, I do think that the Alienware M15R2 is good and truly a beast, but the XPS is not far behind with a decent vapor chamber cooling system. Those thick events justified everything, and to show that Dell really wanted to go all out on the premium XPS 17 cooling this year. For performance, let's consider this. For exact same RAM, processor, and SSD storage, but with much better graphics card and cooling solution, the Alienware in Australia is hugely cheaper than the XPS 17. So why is that? Well, I think that the investment and commitment that Dell puts into their premium XPS laptop is really significant. The XPS 17 is constructed with full metal and designed with ingenious CNC aluminum technology, therefore it is very sturdy and delicate too. I mean, look at those CNC cuts, very sleek. Open up the laptop and you are greeted with that incredible 16:10 Infinite Edge display that is really a leading edge technology and a selling factor of the XPS. It's also the user experience that justifies the insane pricing competing with the Apple MacBook Pro 16, even though I haven't had a chance to try that out yet. It's because Apple have never held a sale event. Lastly, the XPS targets an ultra-premium market, which is essentially the entrepreneurs and creative professional. They are the people who can afford these type of machines, right? Dell's marketing department is doing great for this device, I guess. So for all the reasons above, I think that is what makes the Dell XPS so expensive. For the Alienware M15R2, despite the fact that it costs a lot less than the XPS, but the performance and cooling are better. The new Alienware M15R3 is even better than the R2 that I got here, so keep in mind. Regardless, the performance are still very good. For gaming performance, I found that the Alienware is more consistent in terms of CPU power. I almost never experience a drop in frame rate or throttles. While the XPS is still very promising though, running at 72 degrees on both CPU and GPU consistently at 120 FPS, even though the screen only refreshed at 60 Hz. But entrepreneurs and editors are less focused on the gaming performance. What they do care about is how well it performs in designer programs. The XPS 17 may be decent at gaming, but its specs run Adobe Premiere Pro or Photoshop flawlessly with the Core i7 and GTX 1650 Ti, not to mention there is a vapor chamber cooling. Unlike a regular Windows laptop, I was surprised that the XPS run of power in Premiere Pro decently well, scrolling through timeline and editing video without much delay, and the performance loss almost unnoticeable for me. What about batteries? The more powerful the system is, the less battery time you expect out of these two laptops. For the XPS 17, you expect up to 9 to 10 hours on light tasks. Alienware is completely the opposite. The battery isn't ideal, despite the implementation of NVIDIA Optimus and Tobii eye tracking that automatically dim the display after a few seconds when you are facing away from the laptop. So technically, you expect it to stay around 4 hours, but if you are gaming, 1 hour should be the end of its life. So there are other distinctive features between the two categories. For gaming, battery wasn't so important since gamers mostly spend their time facing a wall and plug in their laptop. But if you are a graphical designer or an entrepreneur, the ability to work anywhere without worrying too much about battery life is crucial. So that is my comparison between the Alienware and the XPS. They are both premium devices that represent the evolution of technology. Although they have very similar characteristics, the user experience is very, very different. Alienware is for gamers, while you can and it is possible to do graphical works, but try to avoid it if you require a more on-the-go laptop or something that isn't so distracting during a meeting. So hopefully this video will help you with your buying intention if you're on the market and considering whether you should choose the Alienware or the XPS. So if you're 100% a creator or someone who doesn't do much gaming, this XPS right here is for you. I mean, it still plays game decently smooth, but it's just not as good as the Alienware. So that's the end of this voyage. I hope you guys liked it and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys up in the next video. Bye!